Welcome! Here's your bubbly and beautiful host, Elizabeth. It's the Caffeinated Cooper Show.
Yeah, I believe in I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about Loch Ness, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
Hello, everybody. Yes, thank you so much, Platinum Planet Records, for that wonderful intro. I am so excited. Let me tell you, it was a beautiful but crisp day this January. My son is homeschooling. So, shout out to all those homeschool mom and dads. It's an interesting time during homeschool and middle schooler, I'll tell you what, but he's such a great kid. So we had a chance to do our PE for the afternoon, take a really long walk with the dog, and what a beautiful day. All right, everybody. Well, welcome to the show. I am so glad to see all of you. I am not sure if we are broadcasting at all of our locations right now. So I am going to take a moment and share this to my feed because for whatever reason, I didn't see it on there. So, I need like 6 more hands and 3 more heads or something to be able to like be in all these different locations to make sure that we're live. But I want to make sure that everybody sees this broadcast because it is going to be really interesting. I'm super excited because, as you know, so many different people are on the show. And I encourage anybody who is interested and loves what they do, it doesn't even feel like a job because you have so much passion behind it and you're very successful at it, please go ahead and email us at ecooperstudios@gmail.com. So I'm going to write that down, ecooperstudios with an S on the end at gmail.com. And that way you can send us messages. If you have any announcements that you'd like me to announce on the news, which we try to do about weekly, then I'm happy to announce those things for you. So if you have anybody that you know that you'd like us to contact, try to come on the show, or maybe your favorite actor or actress. I've been using some of my caffeine products. Could you tell? My mouth is moving way faster than my brain right now. But so, you know that I've had so many different people on the show, but I've never had a matchmaker. And I finally have a really cool matchmaker connected with us. But first, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor. And the sponsor this evening is going to be Water Joe. So Water Joe is a pretty cool thing. It is, just like its name, it is water and caffeine, nothing else. No sugar, no salt, no nothing like that. But it's tasteless. It's completely tasteless caffeine. And it's nice and clean and it feels refreshing. It doesn't feel like you're drinking water that has anything in it. So refreshing, smooth, tasteless spring water. They have multiple sizes and you do get 85 milligrams of caffeine. So this is the 700 milliliter, correct? This is the 23.7 fluid ounce size. And in that size, there's 85 milligrams of caffeine. So, that amount of caffeine is about a cup of coffee. It's going to be between 85 to 90 milligrams of caffeine in a regular cup of coffee. So that's a nice boost. If you don't like the taste of coffee beans, which I don't, it's a good idea. And I definitely suggest that you go check it out. So they're now available on beveragedirect.com, Amazon, Walmart, and waterjoe.com. So check out Water Joe because a lot of companies, especially around this time of year, they're either going to offer something great like multi-percentage off, free shipping, all those types of things. Check them out. It's really a great company. So thank you so much to Water Joe. All right, everybody, let's talk about I feel like a kid with a box of candy. I can't wait to ask my questions because I find people watching so fascinating. And I'm thinking that there has to be a lot of just knowing people and psychology and sociology, all types of things mixed in to be able to pair people together because relationships are hard. Welcome, Ella Scaduto of Smoky Matchmaker. As it reads on her website, and that website is www.smokymatchmaker.com, Ella realized how much fun and joy she got out of her first successful match, which was accidental. The ability to see something in one person and then connect that to another person as a potential compatibility is pretty amazing and most certainly spiritually rewarding. Ella is a professional certified matchmaker and certified science based relationship coach. Ella has a background in psychology and research. She is fascinated by human behavior and interaction, particularly when it comes to finding that special someone. Ella particularly enjoys working with mature clients and expats. Okay, I stopped right there. What is that? You say. I looked it up. An individual living or working in a country other than the country of their citizenship. So work visa, if you will, if that's what I'm inferring. Someone that may be here on a work visa. Ella is a frequent contributor to media, women's groups, and more. And without any further ado, Miss Ella Scaduto. How are you, Ella?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's really nice to see you. I find the world of matchmaking to be so fascinating because I have warmed a couple of park benches, just passing away the time, just watching people, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, you could be certainly.
So I read in your intro about how you successfully made your first match, but by
Mhm.
accident. What's the story on that one?
So that was fun. We actually had a girls' night out. Gosh, I'd say 10 or so years ago. And then I was sitting next to this young fella, brunette, and we were chatting about things. And it's a nightclub in Miami, right? So you don't really expect to meet anybody clever with any intelligence, especially at midnight. All intelligent people are just, we're no longer intelligent. So him and I were having this conversation and we're really connecting and we're talking about psychology and this and that and philosophy, and it's really fun, and it was really great. And then he goes on to ask me for my phone number, and I'm like, oh gosh, I am really married. I'm very, very married, so that's not gonna, fly. But I'm like, you know what though? I have a friend of mine. She's wonderful. She's super intelligent, very pretty, and she's very single. So I'm like, let me let me go get her. So I got her and I introduced them, and then we were chatting, the three of us, right, for just a little bit, and then I kind of just like float away, not to be the third wheel. And yeah, and they're still married. They got a baby now. Well, it's a toddler. So it's yeah, it just like that, it just happened. So that
Wow.
was that was by accident. I mean, not accident, I'd say fate, right? It's all fate.
Mhm.
The right place, right time. Yeah.
Now, it says that you have a background in psychology and research.
Mhm.
You're a science based relationship coach, professional certified matchmaker. So, after that encounter and you made the match, did you already have that background or did you seek that background?
So I had the background in psychology, or at least I was still in the process. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Um, yeah, so I have two. I actually have two bachelors. One of them is in psychology, which is more relevant to matchmaking than my second one. And then additionally, I have the background in research, which I went and got for myself. That was kind of part of my psychology thing that I did. But then after that match, I made a few more of other friends. And then I realized there's this thing, matchmaking, right? Matchmakers are an actual thing, not just a movie. Or, in Jewish community, it's very common, well known, and well respected profession. they all know about it. I had no idea. I just like, oh look, they actually do it. This is great. And then I found Matchmaking Institute, which is in New York, and I went out and got myself certified. Met all the other matchmakers. They come from just about anywhere. We're everywhere in the country, everywhere in the world, working hard to connect singles. Bring more babies into the world, bring more joy and happiness. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun, but I would just think that there has to be a good bit of challenges. When people approach a matchmaker,
Mhm.
um, I know that there are certain religions where, like you had mentioned, in Judaism, it's very common. In so many different ethnicities around the world, it is so very common. But here in the United States, especially from my understanding, in more of the Christian world, it's it's not very common. So, do you find that the people that come to a matchmaker, have they exhausted everything? Like, are they just done looking, but they really would like to have a partner? Like, where are they in life?
Right. So we have those people that come to Matchmaker that have tried everything and it's not working out. Um, and they're just, it's really a lot of work. I don't know if you've used online dating sites before. It could feel like a full-time job, right? So you got to go and look and search and match and talk to everybody, and a lot of times it doesn't actually go anywhere. Was talking to those people. But yeah, there's a lot of those people. A lot of times, most of the time though, we have clients that are just not, they're high status professionals and they're not willing to put their faces online for privacy reasons and whatnot. So they come to a matchmaker. We're like what would you say? We're like real estate agents, right? But instead of finding a house, we find a partner. We find that what's it called? The special someone that's gonna bring joy into your life. So that's what we do. We're just it's like designated search per
Mhm.
se.
So,
Yeah.
in today's world, especially with the young people, which I don't think is a preferred method of trying to find people, but there's a lot of social media apps, and they've kind of gotten the reputation of like a hookup type app. Do
Mhm.
you ever see anybody that tries to seek assistance through a matchmaker for that same reason?
Yes. Yeah, some people come. I mean, of course, we do the initial consultation and we ask what it is that they're looking for. If they're looking to settle down, get married, and start a family and whatnot, then those are the good clients for us to work with. There's other questions that we ask to see if us and the client could be a good match, right? Because we should be the first good match, and then we'll go and make the other matches.
Right.
But the people that will come to Matchmaker, they just want to date on and off, and they're not really serious. We don't take them on as a client. Most matchmakers don't. I don't. It's also, it's a lot of money to do that. You'd be better off on Tinder or something, Bumble, whatever, any of those.
Right.
So,
Right, and those were the ones that I was thinking of. So is there a let's talk about the men, and then it's the same question for the women, right? So is there a common something that the men that you've heard like over and over and over again? May it be a quality, may it be an aspect of how they look. Like, have you heard a certain thing from the male clients looking to match up with a female for a partner? What have you heard?
of course, age,
Oh.
guys always look to date and be matched with somebody younger than themselves. That's a normal thing. I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with it, really. It's evolutionary. So men like to date and be married and matched with younger women, and women like guys that are bigger in size. It's just evolution. I'm like, well, I have the psychology degree, so it's I'm always thinking back as a evolutionary psychology process and all of this, and that all makes sense. You know,
That does make a lot of sense. So for the women,
yeah. For the
where
women, we want men to be tall and big and strong and protect us, and so we can feel safe with them. Which also means, they have to be financially stable because that's what provides safety in our time. They no longer have to hunt the wolves down or anything. So now it's the financial stability. Emotional intelligence is always a plus. So women always want a nice guy. That's what they say to us matchmakers. They want a nice guy, but not really though.
why is that? You would probably be a great person for me to bounce that question off. And I've thought about it time and time again through my life.
Mhm.
We always say we want the nice guy, but then we keep the nice guys as our friends and we date the guys that are not necessarily the nice guys. They're maybe more interesting. They this, that, or the other. Why is that?
Well, there you go. You just answered that. They're more interesting. They're more exciting. They're providing challenge for women. They're doing all these other things that nice guys may not be doing. Nice guys are doing things that put them in the friend zone really fast because they're trying to impress a woman by doing certain things that makes them somewhat impressive in a way. But the other type of guys, they're not trying to impress anybody. They're just doing their own thing that impresses us women. So
Yeah.
we're attracted to that. We like the challenge.
Is there coaching that is involved with some of your clients? Like, let's say you have an average build, average height, not very tall, but not extremely short man that
Mhm.
comes to you, but he doesn't have that interesting piece to him. Is there any ability of coaching, or do you just take that personality as what it is and see if there is a good match for him?
It depends on the person. Um, I do a lot of coaching with men, younger men especially, to kind of get them in the world of dating. A lot of times divorcees, widowers. I work with those guys that haven't been out there in the dating pool in years or decades. So I kind of coach him. I kind of, teach him what could be said and done and how to dress and this and that, and little things. But yeah, I mean, if a guy comes to me and he's just a regular, normal, nice guy, and he doesn't have anything exciting about him, then I would, suggest find some kind of hobby, find something that you love doing, join that, whatever that is, and so that you have something in your own life to be attracted, to be attractive for women. Men need to be interesting, right? Because we like the challenge, we like interesting guys. So if guys have something interesting going on in their life, then we are interested. It's just, I just suggest, I send a lot of guys doing salsa dancing. That's a lot of fun, and they get to interact with other people, with women. They dance, they learn. It's a lot of fun. And then they're like, oh, my hobby is salsa dancing. Tell me more, right? The girls are always like, oh, I like a salsa. Yeah, so it's fun.
What about the women? You know, um, there's a lot of looking for money, um, thinking that they need to move too fast physically in the relationship. Anything that you've seen in those lines? That's just what I've seen with my girlfriends, and you always know in at least in my perspective, you always seem to know at least a couple of them that really just want the guy. If he's stable and has money, that's it. Like, they don't care what he looks like, and I just don't see how a relationship like that could really last. But
As long as he has money, I guess he'll last. I guess $100 a day. I don't know. Yeah, so I've had women like that because I've done matchmaking in Florida before I moved to Tennessee. And Florida is a bit of a melting pot of all sorts of cultures and people and everything in between. So I've had people reach out, women reach out to me that pretty much kind of puts them in the category of where they're looking for the guy that has the money. And they're like, oh, I have this to bring to the table. I'm pretty and young and this and that, and that's it. So I need the guy that's tall, big, and rich, or whatever he is, but he's rich. And they're like, yay, I'm so glad you told me, thank you. It was great meeting you. Bye bye. It's my job is to protect my clients from women like that. So, and then I don't have women that the women that hire matchmaker to find them a match, they don't need the money. They're fine. They're they're all settled in their finances. But women that are becoming matches or they're potential matches for male clients, those are the ones that we kind of look out for as matchmakers. It's our job. We have to protect our clients so they don't have to deal with the heartbreak and emotional distress, once you fall in love with the person and then you're like, oh my gosh, she's a gold digger.
Right.
So, we
Yeah.
skip we skip all of that. We're just like, nope, no thank you.
Oh, that's really nice. I mean, that makes a lot of sense that there are going to be a level of morals required
Mhm.
for working with you, Smoky Matchmaker. And that has to relax a lot of people to say, okay, he's not going out with me just because he wants to sleep with me tonight. Or, okay, she's not going out with me just because I have a nice house and I make a good yearly monies and car and all this kind of stuff. She wants me to take her to Aruba tomorrow. That that has to just create a different conversation when they do meet up. Now, do you have a hand in the location that they might go out on their first date or first meeting? What is that first encounter?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I set up everything. I reserve a table at the restaurant. It's nice. It's always nice, right? But not super nice. Not like super duper expensive. Because again, I'm trying to create a match, not provide, meals or something for, whatever. So yeah, I reserve the table. It's always on my name. People come in, they're like, "Oh, I got a table under Ella for two," and then the hostess will walk either both of them to their seats, and I've never lost anybody that way, thank God. And then they have their conversation, and like I never tell when I talk to a potential match, a female for my guy clients, right? I never tell them how much the guy makes, if he's rich or not. It's assumed that he's, well off financially enough to hire a matchmaker in the first place, right? Because we're a particular service, so we're not really cheap. We're affordable, they're not super cheap or anything. Um, so yeah, it's assumed that the guy is well off and or financially stable. But I never discuss how much they make, what they have. That's not something I want to be on the back of the lady's mind.
Right.
Per se, I want them to connect, to see if they like each other first, and then go on from there.
So is it the same rate for a female as it is for the male um, candidates, I guess, if you will, right?
Mhm.
Are they paying the same amount for to have a profile under you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So they're meeting eye to eye. I have a girlfriend of mine, and she's been divorced for a couple of years,
Mhm.
and she's just now getting out there. And she's like, "You know what? I find it so difficult because I can go out," and she's a little bit older than me, right? So we're in the generation of we met people at the grocery store. We met someone at the library. We met someone at church, or, it was always in person. And that's
Mhm.
exactly how she's going through it. And she's like, "Oh, he's so cute over there." But she's like, "What if he doesn't meet me eye to eye?" Because she's a professional and she makes a very good living. And she's
Mhm.
like, "I don't want somebody with good looks, but they don't have, they don't I don't want anybody mooching off of me is exactly what she said. And I said, I can understand that. So your service makes so much sense. And for younger people, are you seeing more younger people coming to you because of this whole social media thing? I can imagine myself if I had grown up in this and my options were finding somebody through Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. Maybe you do that once, maybe you do that twice, and you realize this isn't working, or you
Mhm.
don't do it at all and just say, I don't trust this.
Mhm.
Are you seeing younger people come to you?
They do, yes, they come. I personally don't take anybody under 30 for guys as a client, right? Because there's two types. There's clients and then there's members, right? Who become database members and they're welcome to join for free. Very much welcome. But I don't take anybody under 30 because I believe they're still a little too young, you know, to settle down. Now, I could be wrong. Of course, somebody could be 25 and they've got their PhDs and they're ready to be, a dad or a mom, whatever. Sure, it happens. But most of the time, they're young people. So I'd love for them to go have fun and do everything that a young single person could do before they settle in, because once they settle in my opinion, we're going for a lifetime of a marriage, right? That's what I'm looking for them to have, not like the 5 years of marriage and then they divorce and then they go back at it. So
Right.
it's a long-term commitment that I'm trying to create. So I would love for them to go hang out, get everything that they can out of their system, and then come find a matchmaker and settle in. So yeah. But yeah, young people do come. They do.
What about the other end of the spectrum? So I was working, we were trying to create a TV show between a producer and I, and it was, you can kind of imagine without me giving too much away, but it was bringing seniors together.
Ooh.
And it was really interesting because when we did our focus group and we were talking to these seniors, they
Mhm,
had so many different ideas, so many different perspectives. A lot of them were widowed or widowers.
mhm,
And, one gentleman told us, he said, I love my wife beyond anything on this earth. And when she died, I grieved and I'm beyond my grief. This was like 6 or 7 years ago that she had died. And he
mhm.
said, but then I realized when I wanted to step out there, my kids didn't want me to. So he felt a little like, I wanted to date, but then I felt like a teenager again because if I was dating a lady, I couldn't let my kids know. Have you been working with seniors?
Yes, I love seniors. I love them. They're awesome. I think they're the easiest match that I could do because they're so open-minded. And you know I feel like by the time you get to be of that age, right? And by seniors I mean like close to 70, right?
Mhm.
We could just to get a base on that. I feel like by the time you get to that age, you kind of have been there and done that on just about anything there is. So they're very, relaxed, and they're not, like they're not crazy, like, oh, he's got to be tall, or, oh, she's got to be like super young, whatever, and skinny like a model. They're like, I just want a good person, right? I just want somebody to go to a theater with, or have something fun to do and activities and whatnot. So I love seniors. I've matched a bunch. I love
Oh
working
my
with them.
gosh.
They're awesome.
I would love that too. And that was the one thing I really enjoyed in talking to them in the focus group is exactly what you said. They're so authentic. They
Hmm.
know exactly what they're looking for. And that same gentleman that had that issue with his children, he said, I don't want to be smothered. We're beyond that.
Yeah.
When you're young and you're first married and you're trying to build your family and she's keeping tabs on where you're going, and maybe you get out for a girls' night every once in a while, but mostly you're raising the children together. You're
Hmm.
together. He's like, it's a different perspective when you're seniors. Like, I still want to go play bridge with the guys, and she's got to be okay with that. And that's like 4 times a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, so as far as finding candidates, how
Mhm.
do you find new people?
Oh gosh. It's a lot of like cross fingers and calling on all the gods help. It's just about everywhere, honestly. I do online scouting and on all sorts of social medias. I make posts, I do in-person singles events. I do them in Knoxville and I do them in Nashville, and I'm gonna move to Chattanooga because people have reached out to me and there's nothing like that going on, so they're like, please just come do one. I'm like, okay. So the events, a lot of times matchmakers we all collaborate, so we kind of help each other out. Say if I'm looking for a specific person for one of my clients and I'm just running out of ideas and options, then I can reach out, and well, some of my friends matchmakers might have somebody, so that's we share. Of course everything is very confidential. We don't It's not like a Facebook picture share that we do. Yeah, it's just about any way possible to find singles.
So
Ads, a lot of advertising.
your website is absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to pull up your website solo here. So these are some of the past events.
Yes.
Singles meet and greet first meeting that was on December 30th. And then on the 31st, you had a New Year's Eve celebration. I mean, these look so fun.
Hmm.
Singles game and mingle in August, and bowling,
Hmm.
dances. I mean, it just goes on. This is a very, very busy thing. You do a lot of work.
Well, these are now in Florida. I did a lot in Florida.
Oh my goodness. But that makes it so fun. So, what about the events that are coming up to be soon in Nashville, or not just Nashville, Tennessee?
So I have plans in my head. I haven't put them on the paper yet. So once I do that, they'll be on the website, of course, and I'm also posting them on my Meetup and on Facebook and Eventbrite. So that's all going to be there. Yeah, I have something planned for like middle of January for Nashville and Knoxville, and then I'm gonna do Valentine's Day in Nashville and Knoxville. So something with dancing. I love dancing. It's so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, that
Plus,
is
it's like it's an easy excuse for everybody to kind of like hug and hang out at the same time.
so.
Dancing.
um, what is your, and I just want to get your opinion, like from the psychological perspective, speed dating. So
Mhm.
everybody's heard of these speed dating events, right? Is it really possible in 2 or 3 minutes to know, yes, I really have a strong connection with this person? I mean, do you find it to be very quick when you strike it rich and you have the two people that meet for the first time, like, do they know within the first couple of seconds?
So they've done research, and it says 5 minutes is the most appropriate best time for speed dating to for somebody to figure out that they're a good match.
Hmm.
I do believe that's possible because our brain works a lot faster than we think. You've heard of first impressions, right?
Yeah.
And that takes about 3 seconds for someone to look at someone else and make immediate first impression based on their look. It takes another 5 seconds to communicate with somebody to see if you like that person. And the looks and communication, it's not just words, right? It's everything about your body, how you handle yourself, how you stand and sit, and any of those things. Your eyes, there's a lot of things going on our faces when we talk and communicate. So I think 5 minutes is plenty enough if you're paying attention and you're like really like focused. So I think it's plenty. I think it's doable. Yeah. Now the trouble with speed dating is that there's so many of them going on at the same time, right? It's 5 minutes, then you move, then you move, then you move, and then it might by the end of the night, if you're not writing things down, you might just forget or start. It's like I feel in my opinion, I could be wrong though. I feel like it's when you go to the mall and you smell perfume, and then you smell another and another. By like the number five perfume, they're all the same. They really do. They smell identical. So I think, if you do speed dating, concentrate. And if you find the one that you really feel strongly about, write it down. And then go on. But yeah, I think five minutes, 2 3 minutes. I don't think it's enough, but 5 minutes I think is good. It's plenty.
That's amazing, isn't it? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the energy.
Our brains are phenomenal. There's so much information that gets processed without us even thinking about it. Just looking at people. So
Mhm.
it's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I have your website up here in the broadcast. I was wondering if you are okay with just showing us around your website, what's on there. And so let's go over to it. Would you mind taking us through the website?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this is Smoky Matchmaker, www.smokymatchmaker.com. And so I see that you have an About Us page, blog, services, events, contact, and get started.
Mhm.
If someone is watching this and saying, oh my gosh, yes, this is for me, I'm assuming they can go over to get started, or is there something else that you want them to read on the website to make sure that they're ready?
You can go and get started. It'll take you to the page where you can fill in a little profile thing, and it has some information on there too about what's going on. This is fun. This is a free 15, what is it? 15 20 minute consult. Oh, it's half an hour. Cool.
Yeah,
I
30.
totally forgot. It's a half an hour consultation. Basically, people can schedule half an hour with me and see if they are, if they would benefit from having a matchmaker, or if they have some kind of questions that they might have, you know, about dating, and I could help with online profiles, or whatever they need. They have half an hour with me. So that's that one.
Okay. And then we just went over the events. So this is a great place to come back to
Mhm.
see the events that you have coming up. But of course, they are exclusive, just like you mentioned, right?
Well, what do you mean by exclusive?
Oh, I thought, I guess maybe I heard that wrong. So let's go over that again. So the events, are they open to the general public?
Yes,
Oh, they are.
the general single public. Yes, not married ones. So,
That
I
was
don't
another,
think that happen as well, unfortunately.
yeah, that was another question I was going to ask you. So when I was dating, I would background check people.
Oh
I
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, because I learned very quickly that, people will lie about just about everything. So, of course, I signed up for one of these services online, and you get a general background check. Um, I'm assuming that is definitely something you do, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I search everybody, including clients, when I sign them up. It's in my contract that I can cancel the contract within 3 days, and
Mhm.
I tell them why. I say, I always meet my clients in person, always, because I want to get a feel for them. So I tell them, like, you seem like an awesome person, so I'm gonna just let you know I'm doing background checks on everyone. If there's something you want me to know. Never had an issue though, thank God. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Wow.
I
Yeah, I guess, if you have to put some skin in the game and sign up to be working with a matchmaker and, you're paying money, so you've got skin in the game. I guess you're gonna think twice if you're married. You're gonna think twice if you have a lot of felonies in your background, things like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I've never had anybody who signed up as a client that had any issues with their background.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
I've ran into some people that signed up on to become a member for free. That's a free thing. You can become a member.
Hmm.
It's pretty much it's like a pool of singles that I look into first when I match my clients. I've had some interesting people that went in there, and I do background checks on them as well, and I get rid of those. Yeah, it's
Oh, wow. That's a lot of work. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
so when you met your husband, did you use a matchmaker?
no, it was actually gosh, it was actually predetermined setup in a way. I don't know. It was funny. We actually met at his dad's house, but his dad wasn't there. He was in Europe, but his girlfriend was there, and my mom and the girlfriend were friends at the time. They're still friends, I guess. And those two, they were like, "Oh, my daughter's single," and the girlfriend's like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend's son is all wonderful, and he's single too." And they're like, "Oh, let's hook them up together." So, so then my mom, literally, we went to the beach and we were on the way back, and she's like, "Oh, let's stop by for a glass of wine." I'm like, "Sure, whatever you say." And we stop by, and then he comes over, and I'm like, "Come on, what is this now?" So that was a little embarrassing for me, and poor guy, he felt so bad for me because he knew this was a setup. I didn't know. He knew when he drove. But it worked out. We're still together. It's been
I've thought about that so many times for my kids. I have 5 children, 2
oh
of
yeah.
which are in their 20s, and the rest of them are either teen or preteen. And
Hmm.
I've thought about that for my girls. I'm like, "We know your personality, like, inside and out." I could tell you exactly. I have 3 girls and 2 boys. And I mean, I could just say, "Okay, you need somebody with a lot of patience for that one. You need somebody with a really strong backbone with this one."
Oh my god.
Wow. So the match was made for you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It was
Oh,
made.
that's great. Well, I really appreciate your time and talking with us. And I mean, this has been such a cool conversation. And you're so open to answer so many different questions about your business. So I want to thank you for that. I do have your website up, but what are some great ways to contact you if someone is like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm in the Tennessee area. This is for me.
Okay. The phone call is always the best. If you can't schedule it on the website on the Calendly contact us page, that would be perfect.
Mhm.
Email is great as well. I have social media, of course, everyone does, but I'm not really good at it. I don't go there as often as I really should. So if somebody writes me on those things, I will eventually respond. But the phone number and email, those are the best.
And
In
I have,
fact, you could probably text me on this phone number, actually, now that I'm
okay.
thinking.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have the phone number is 865-269-9456.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your time this evening. This has been so fun. But when you have some events that you would like to promote, you're welcome to come back on the show. So just send me an email and let me know. I'd love to have you on again.
Totally awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're welcome. All right, have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Everybody, that was great. If you are in the Tennessee area and you're looking for love, for that long term love of a lifetime, make sure that you call Ella Scaduto at 865-269-9456. You can look at her website if you're like, I'm not ready to call and I want to know more. Go to www.smokymatchmaker.com. All right, everybody, we are blessed. You are blessed. Mwah. I love you. And I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you for watching. All right, we're off.